How's it going, Fatsos? And today I am yet again making a video that I've never actually watched before myself, and I'm doing a food challenge, and I am going to try and recreate my legendary, world famous Chinese cheat meal. Now, back on the day on the road to becoming Big Chungus, like when I was a right big meatball, I used to go out for dinner every Friday with my dad, and it used to be Italian, but then somewhere along the line we started going for a Chinese just because we ate Italian so much in the house. And this isn't just like once every now and then, this was literally every single week that I wasn't away competing or training or whatever with judo. Few people have seen this in action before, few people told me they couldn't believe it, and I'm going to actually see if I can do it right now when I'm about 20 kilos lighter, and I'm probably going to eat double the amount of calories I ate in a full day within this one cheat meal. But anyway, I'm starving, so I'm going to kick off with my starter, which is chicken noodle soup and salt and pepper chicken wings, and don't forget the goats, the prawn crackers. Now, I've actually ordered this from the Edinburgh famous Karen Junicorn, which I've never had before, so this is a first for me. So chicken noodle soup, a lot of people are always surprised when I say this is one of my orders from the Chinese, and I don't know why, because Chinese chicken noodle soup is like one of the best. I'm actually putting myself at a slight advantage, disadvantage, whatever way you want to look at it, because there's only 4 wings in this portion, and normally I would have had 5 as my starter. Are very fucking good. This is actually quite watery, to be honest. After I was bigging up, it's actually not the best. I mean, it's alright. I mean, it'll help get the calories in, not that I'm going to be needing them. Now, just to make it clear, I am doing this for entertainment purposes, and I'm all for you, depending on the phase of your training, being able to fit a cheat meal in here and there. And again, you cheat on your girlfriend, not on your food. So when you have a quote-unquote cheat meal, it should really be something that's worked into your plan. It's not actually cheating. And when you do, you should have some sort of discipline. And just for example, if you're trying to cut weight for the summer and you're going to give yourself a refeed day, a cheat meal, whatever it is, I would always say max, it should probably be about an extra 500 calories more than what your normal daily allowance is. When you really take the piss with your cheat meal, and if you're going to end up eating like an extra, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500, even up to 2,000 extra calories, it's not necessarily to say you are going to like retain all 2,000 extra of them, and that's a slightly different video. However, you are going to be putting yourself in that risky territory of literally wiping out your whole progress that you've done through the week. And as well, you're just going to feel mentally shit after it. I love prawn crackers, and there is probably about 100 calories in literally one. Not quite that much, but not far off it, but they are so good. You can literally just eat them all day. Oh, it's finally brought over my drink, which is some Tango Zero strawberry and something or other, and it's actually pretty good. But anyway, now we are on to the main course, which is lemon chicken with noodles, and we would also normally get something to share, which was really aka Senior picking at it and me eating it all. And we would normally get some sort of sizzly beef conglomeration thing, which I didn't see anything like that on the menu, so I just got beef and Szechuan sauce. So we're going to go for the double. And I can't remember if I mentioned this, by the way, but see, if you eat Chinese with anything other than chopsticks, then you are the definition of a wee guy. Now obviously this is like a hell of a lot of food and calories, but what you do also need to remember is back then I was training a hell of a lot more than I am now. This was at the point when I was a full-time athlete, and I was doing anything from like 9 to 14 training sessions a week, so I was burning a lot of calories off. Not very saucy. Like, could do with some more sauce, but taste pretty fucking good. That's got a lot of flavour to it. Wow. I like that. And a lot of veg as well. Very healthy. Gonna do a little mix and match here. Now, going back to the kind of point at hand, so obviously I've showed and talked about me just perma-bulking before and how it just ended up having a massive negative impact on my sport performance, my gym performance, my physique, and ultimately my life. Could go into a lot more detail on that, and it's maybe a video for another day. But I do know that there's still a lot of people that will have the view that I used to have, where it's like, I need to just get every single calorie I can into my mouth, and I need to get as big as possible, be as strong as possible, and build as much muscle and all that just crap. The whole eat big, get big thing is just a lot of nonsense, and what you need to remember is that you need to eat bigger to get bigger.
What the fuck did I just hear?
Not big And there's a difference between that. You simply just need to eat more than what you are. And I don't know why I keep breaking up the syllables like that. So if you're eating 2,400 calories a day, you might simply just need to up it to 2,600. And that little change, I can guarantee you, will make a massive amount of difference. And even eating at maintenance as well, and my current calorie setup that I'm using to maintain 90 kilos is I eat 4 days of the week at 2,400 calories. I have 2 days untracked, one of which I do end up in the ballpark of 2,400, but it's maybe just not the same macros. The other one, it's just a wee bit of a free-for-all with a little bit of discipline. And the last day I eat as close to 2,000 as I possibly can to offset what I did on my untracked days. That's enough for me to maintain 90 kilos, feel pretty good, still pretty hungry at the times where I'm restricting my calories, but I'm still able to get stronger every time I go in the gym, which shows I've clearly got enough calories. And always remember that your gym performance and pretty much anything training related will always be your main indicator. And if you're getting stronger, then you're eating enough. If you're in like a 500 calorie a week surplus, which is like minuscule, and you're putting on, let's just say like 0.1 or 0.2 grams over a week, but you're still getting stronger, then it shows that you are still building muscle. This is actually getting quite hard now. Ugh. You really love the prawn crackers, but they're just too good. Might need to actually take a strategic pause and I'll reply to some Instagram messages, which, if you're not following, remember I've got a new Instagram page. The last one's had its arse scalped, so need all the help I can get on the new page. Make sure that you follow me on there, it'll take you 2 seconds and you're going to get top quality content multiple times a day, not just once a week on a Sunday like on YouTube.
So, you guys might have seen Soren before. He is super young and has an absolutely insane physique. And he claims natural. I'm not kidding. Look at his physique again. It's what throws me off the most about it, is just how...
What throws you off about your physique? The fact he's got a great physique.
Like,
see, that's when you know when somebody's just totally full of shit, like that Brandon Clark guy. I've done a video on him before. And he's actually questioning if this wee kid is natural or not. And obviously he's a fake natty, so you defend your own and all that, and I get that. How anybody in their right mind isn't just looking at that and being like, this boy's like on something, quite clearly, is beyond me. It's just mental. But what he knows for certain is that you have to DM change for fitness coaching or DM coach for business mentorship. I'm sure he's going to be teaching you a real lot of good stuff. Now let's talk about it if you are on the other end of the spectrum and you are somebody who's trying to gain weight and you maybe find it hard and not got much of an appetite. Because as much as my message is anti-bulking and obviously encouraging you to eat less and build up slower, I understand there is people on the other side to that and they just struggle to just get bigger, get stronger, build more muscle. They're just genetically not inclined to do so. And I know that it can be tough. So my advice to you, if you feel like you're somebody who struggles to eat and you feel like it doesn't take a lot to fill you up and it's like a real struggle for you hitting your calories, because I've coached guys like this before. Just like when you're dieting, you need to push through that uncomfortable part when you're a bit hungry. It's the exact same when you're trying to put on weight and quote unquote bulking. There is going to be a lot of times where you just don't feel like eating and you're not used to it, but those are the times that you kind of need to push yourself through it, and then that's when you just get accustomed to it. And again, you do it right, it should probably be no more than an extra 300 calories a day, which if you break that up over the day, that's like really, really achievable. And don't just think that you need to add like 300 calories in into one meal. And remember, when it comes to eating, and I suppose I could link this back to anything really, it's not about just like eating a lot in a winner or starving yourself in a winner. It's about what you do consistently and making sure that you are eating consistently. And if you are trying to hit a set amount of calories, it's about like eating round the clock. And that is literally what I used to do to try and get myself bigger, where it was like, right, okay, an hour and a half went by, time for a snack. Another hours went by, it's time for a meal. And it used to literally just be like clockwork. I would just be eating. And it was how I was actually able to put on such a large amount of weight. And I eventually ended up at 112 kilos, at 6 foot tall. And that was with me as a full-time athlete, training 10 times a week minimum, pretty much, and a lot of cardio-based sessions and doing a sport that was pretty physically tough. So if I was actually able to fit that much food in me to get that size doing the exercise that I was doing, definitely a way for you to just eat enough just to put you in that small surplus, just to gain muscle and strength. I've actually had a second wind and that was actually pretty easy. I'm almost a little bit disappointed that it wasn't going to be harder. So we're just going to scoop up the last of the sauce with a prawn cracker. You want to know how easy this is? I'm actually going to go and see if Mel's got any leftovers because I got ordered her some as well because I'm just like the best boyfriend ever. Success. We have got a couple chicken spring rolls. Pretty decent, but you know what will make it even better? So that's the main course done. At that point now where you kind of just need to slump back and just let the belly come out, but we've still got dessert. Now obviously Chinese is one of the most goated cuisines. However, one thing that they lack is like goat tier dessert. Like it's just not as good as everything else. However, doesn't mean that we don't have one. So have a little think right now about what you'd order for a Chinese dessert and we'll see if it matches up with what I've ordered. You guessed it. Even more chicken wings. The people that work there knew us and they were a bit shocked the first time that I'd done it, is almost just like, oh, I'm really hungry tonight, I'll just have a little bit more. Then it became a weekly thing and they just sort of found it funny, although anybody who was in the restaurant eating and seen me doing it would be looking over and be like, what the actual hell, or people would actually just laugh and we'd be like, I know. So we have our final portion of chicken wings for dessert. I feel like these aren't quite as good as that first portion, but it's probably because they've just been sitting there for a wee while. But the final point that I want to leave you with is what big eating actually is, because a lot of people have got it really misconstrued and they think that big eating is just being able to eat like one big massive meal, and you probably know somebody and it's like, oh my god, I seen him at Five Guys and he had 4 burgers or whatever. A bit like me having this. But I wasn't a big eater because I had this. I was a big eater because I would go home and in a couple hours time before I go to my bed, end up nibbling on something else. And then wake up the next again day and start eating again. And it's that continuity of eating and eating and eating. And nowadays, I'll eat this. I'll struggle to eat till tomorrow morning, if that. I'll probably be like mostly lunchtime when I get my appetite back. Whereas the true big eaters can obviously stand toe to toe with anyone over a single meal, but it's the fact they can do it continually. And that's when people used to try and challenge me, and they used to like try and match me for food. And some people could match me on a single meal. Ask them to then go again in a couple hours time and they were done. Whereas I had the ability, and I've still kind of got it now to be fair, of being able to eat and then going again and again and again and having that continuity. And that's how I was able to put as much weight on as I did, is because it wasn't just like eating big here and there, it was eating big constantly, and I could... I think I genuinely would be able to shock you with some of the stuff I used to eat, like ravioli for breakfast and 2,000 calorie post-training shakes. It was a wild time. I don't know if any of you are big fat bastards watching this, but that's what I always say when you see somebody who is like morbidly obese, like your Gemma Collins and Lizzos, those type of people. You can't just think about how much food they would eat in a winter, it's how much food they would consistently need to eat to get and then maintain that size. And it's just grotesque at the end of the day. And there is just no need for any human being on this planet to consume as much food as they do, and quite clearly that's why they end up the size that they do. I used 2 women there, I'm probably going to get called sexist now. Like that avocado guy that was massive, or he's lost weight, or he's off YouTube or whatever. All of you will probably know the guy I'm talking about. But he was also like, I think 200 kilos pretty much. And again, at that point, it's just like down to greed. Downright fucking greed. I'm actually a bit disappointed there because I thought that was going to be a lot harder, but I've actually managed to pull through and tuck that away relatively easy. By my count, I think I've had roughly between 4,500 and 5,000 calories. So at least we know that I can do that pretty easily. So I would have liked this to be harder. If you do have any suggestions for food challenges you would like me to do next, please put it in the comments. And normally I say, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm sick to death if people message me on Instagram and saying, see that video? See in that video? Yeah, I can fucking see the video. Just comment on the video. Help boost the algorithm. But if there's any of these more you want me to do, let me know, and I'll probably squish it like I have this one. I don't know if I'm going to mention coaching after I've just done all that, because it's obviously not the greatest advert in the world. However, it does just show that I am still the fucking man at eating when I want to be. I will leave it there, so make sure to like and subscribe. And I also know how to put the little blips on the end of the videos now, so you can go and pick a couple other different videos that I've made before on actual training things. You can see me in action in the gym, which is probably the only place that I excel even more than the dinner table. Have a good life, and I'll catch you all soon.